imejumuika na mataifa mengine kuadhimisha wiki ya kunyonyesha duniani. Inakadiriwa kuwa zaidi ya wanawake nusu bilioni wanaofanya kazi hawazingatiwi ipasavyo kwa uzazi katika sheria ya baadhi ya mataifa, wengi wao wakipitia wakati mgumu wa kufanya kazi na kunyonyesha. Huku serikali ikipewa kipaumbele sehemu kama sokoni kupata vyumba vya kunyonyesha, Wizara ya Afya imependekeza kina mama ambao wana uwezo kunyonyesha miezi za kwanza ili kupunguza vifo vya watoto wachanga. Hata ingawa mama anafaa kunyonyesha kwa miezi 6 ya kwanza au zaidi, Daktari Susan, mtaalamu unyonyeshaji, anadokeza kuwa baadhi ya kina mama hawana uwezo wa kunyonyesha.
Miss Susan, I am a lactation specialist. I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm very passionate about breastfeeding, newborn babies, postpartum mothers. So you find me those treats. And thank you for asking what exclusive breastfeeding means. It means when a baby is born, we don't give that baby water or formula or any other type of milk, cow milk, goat milk. We only give the mother's milk. That means exclusively breastfed baby. Sometimes, out of no wish, some moms don't have that benefit of or a family setup. So when I'm talking about exclusive breastfeeding, I'm very careful on certain group of mothers or families that are forgotten, and out of not their wish, they're not able to give that baby exclusive breastfeeding or exclusive mother's milk. And we'll talk about it, but I mentioned it in the beginning so that we don't lose a few people thinking this is the show for those mothers, you know. So some parents are not fortunate to make it through motherhood. Some babies are born and the mother passes on. Where do we put them, you know? So we are not here to condemn everything in one bracket. We are here to say, yes, it's important for a baby to exclusively breastfeed, but with a caution of what about another mother who didn't have that privilege. Sometimes it happens. WHO recommends the baby exclusively breastfeed for 6 months with no water or any other substitutes. And then for 2 years, after 6 months, we introduce solids and water, which is called weaning by many people, but we the professionals call it complementary feeding, where you introduce other food because the baby cannot now survive on milk, breast milk alone. The baby needs other sources of nutrition. So you continue breastfeeding despite the baby being on other food or water. You continue breastfeeding for another 2 years or beyond. I've seen a 3-year-old baby or child breastfeed. I've seen a 4-year-old. I've seen a 5. On the internet, I've seen a 6. And when I read the comments, the condemnation was higher than recommendation. You know, like this child looks big for this nyonyo. And many people stop because of the community around us. What are they going to say? When they see me breastfeed my 3-year-old, ama mtoto anajiitishia nyonyo, unaona watasemaje? This is a spoiled child. The mother is spoiling the child. And that notion goes around and people want to stop earlier. But WHO says 6 months and then 2 years and beyond. It's a very good question, and I will answer it in 2 ways. If for sure there is no other source of feeding for this baby, for example, the way we said the mother has passed on, for example, the mother is admitted, some remain in the hospital, for sure this baby needs to feed. Those substitutes come in, that's cow milk, goat milk, formula. At that point, we have no other choice, the baby has to feed. But I will concentrate now on this side and say, if a baby is fed on formula, goat milk or cow milk or camel milk, there are some people who do camel milk, let's first read formula. This cow milk, goat milk has a lot of protein. You find the baby is not able to sustain or to do with that protein level. So you hear the mother say you mix with water. Still, even if you mix, there are babies who cannot tolerate. Remember, every child digestive system starts digesting some of the other nutrients at 6 months. And that's why we say, don't give baby anything else apart from breast milk for the first 6 months. When you look at formula also, they try to copy what breast milk has, but they still cannot, get it like exact like breast milk. So when the baby is given, even earlier, when the baby is born and people buy formula, many mothers call me and say the baby is vomiting, the baby is having diarrhea, the baby is having all manner of, because the protein in it or the nutrition part of it is quite high for the stomach for the baby. So we always say that's the main side effect. And also, when babies are put on formula or other milk, they're not able to bond with their mother, unlike breastfeeding. So when you ask for disadvantages, we look at it in that direction. Baby not being able to digest other types of milk, because breast milk changes as baby grows. From when the baby was born, there's the first milk, which is colostrum, the yellow milk, it goes changing. And there's also fore milk, which looks like water with a dash of milk. And there's a heavy milk that is now full of lipids and proteins and other nutrients. So when you ask me, what would be my recommendation is babies be breastfed if possible for the first 6 months and for the 2 years on other substitutes like other nutrients. Yeah.
And
This year's theme worldwide is about the enabling breastfeeding, making a difference for the working parents. By this I mean, why they got, every year we have a different theme on World Breastfeeding Week. Every year it's different. If you check, the last year it was different. This year we want to highlight more because we have two types of people or mothers. Those who work in formal setup, like office work, and there are those who are in formal setup where they are not really employed by an institution or government, but yet they work, let's say like Mama Mboga or somebody who owns a salon or who works in a salon. What are we saying? We are saying this. Every working mom, despite, is it an office? Are you in a soko? Are you wherever? We are not concentrating on office alone, but it looks like a lot of highlights is more of, when you hear working, people focus or their mind shift to an office 8 to 5 job. We are talking about mothers or parents who are working. Mothers who work in informal setup. The government is really, really trying, I would say, because like in Chuka, in the Soko there's a breastfeeding space. In Kisumu, as well, there's a Soko there with a breastfeeding space. What are we getting? This was not there before. The more we talk about breastfeeding, you see what things will change. The WHO, they are on the high right. They're checking what can we do about this in regards to mothers who are working. If it's formal setup, like an 8 to 5 job, we are saying every office, if possible, to have a space, just a little space. It doesn't have to be very luxurious. Just a little space for a mother who can go in, express the milk, because as the day goes on, the baby is left at home, the milk is still being produced. This is a mother, if you want her efficacy in work, you need to give her some two things, space and time. That means she can take her break and go and express this milk, remove the milk. And I can tell you something, this is not where we started. When we started, even mothers didn't know they can express or pump milk at work or in office. because they feared, what will my boss say? What will my colleagues say? Even women colleagues. What will the men in the office say? But let me tell you now, the more we keep highlighting about breastfeeding, actually men are now more supportive about breastfeeding in the offices. When I talk to my clients and ask them, I ask them one question: when are we going back to work? When are you going back to work? They say, I only have 3 months of leave, then I go back. I ask them 2 things. We need to start preparing milk for the baby when you leave. Number 2, we need to prepare your mind. If you don't have an office, not everyone has a privilege of owning an office space in the formal setup. Is there somewhere in your mind you can figure out a boardroom or an office that is not really used, or a place where you can give your colleague a space, to just express? It doesn't take long. Within 30 minutes, that mom is done. And you've given her a whole day of feeling relaxed and enjoying. Because when they feel they're not able to perform very well, the breast gets heavy, they start getting engorgement, and they start leaking milk, and it's a bit uncomfortable for the mother. So what we are saying, the more we keep highlighting about this year now, apart from this week, we'll continue highlighting even to the institutions, even to the markets, even to these people who are working in informal setup. Give them little time, or mother, if you're self-employed, please take a few minutes break. Those who are privileged to have their babies brought, some companies do that. They allow babies to come to the office, breastfeed, and go back even 2 times a day. If that is possible, you don't know what you've given that mother. She will even perform better and even exceed your expectations. If she's able to get small space, even the HRs give those people little space and time to go, pump. I'll tell you, if a mother is pumping, then you intrude and say, boss is calling you, boss is calling you. Do you know what you've caused to that mother? She can't even pump anymore. The milk drops like instantly because of anxiety. The hormones spray around the mother like this. The hormone for breastfeeding, for expression of milk, is not the same as what you tell the mother, to make her startled or to get unsettled. So let's give these mothers, wherever they are, give them space and time and understanding that they are only breastfeeding for that time. And that baby is only a baby only that time. Very soon they are back to school. And you're like, oh, the milestones have moved so quick. Yes, and you find every home is different from mine, from yours. Some use hard expression, where they have like this breast model of mine, hands only, and it is magical because you're massaging and you get more milk, but people see it like it's dirty. So you come and express the milk in a cup, and as you do it, what you're doing to your breast, look at this, I'm massaging as I express. So this gives us more milk, more than even machine or manual pump. I'll mention about the pumps because you've brought them. Every household prefer, so some moms will go buy manual pump. Some moms will go buy electric pumps. Some moms will go buy hospital grade pumps, which cost even 50,000 Kenya shillings. Why am I mentioning this? We are not enabled the same. Financially, there are those who cannot even afford a manual pump. In fact, they are looking at what should I buy first. Is it food for that family or is it the pump? So some by default know how to express by hand. And if they want to be shown, we can show them. That's why we are there. If somebody needs some more support, like how do I manually express milk? Number 2, those who use manual pump, I find them telling me, I'm getting tired so quick, the hands. You are pumping, yes, but you reach a point the hand is tired. You exchange, you do the other hand, you get tired. So some people, because of that, they go for the electric pump. But again, not all families can afford. Number 2, some moms fear that electrical current. They think it will come, reach them, and they get electrocuted or something. There's a connotation there about electric pumps. But there's nothing like that. If you opt for a manual pump, just bear in mind that you will keep exchanging hands until you get some milk drawn. An average mother, we say 30 to 90 mils per expressing time. Some mothers say, I only got 30 mils, and we tell them, well done, you're good, you're doing well. You know why? People expect once you crick it like this, like you have 90 mils, 100 mils, it's not always. Some people will say, I've been on a pumping session and I've only gotten 100 mils. Little, because of lack of awareness, they think 100 is little. Because also the internet, many people who go there, they post huge amounts. Like I've had 200 mils in one pumping session. Then a mother compares herself to one who got 30 mils, and they feel less of a mother. And they feel like, is there a problem with me? We keep telling them, you cannot compare. Actually, the baby is the best drawer of milk, or the person who can draw milk better than manual pump or electric pump. Actually, the pumps just help along, but they don't extract all the milk that you have in your body. If you had a gadget that measures the milk before and after, I think that would be the best gadget every mother could own. Actually, people would go for that, because when you're telling them breastfeed the baby, how exactly are you, how sure are you you've given baby 90 mils? Even myself as a specialist, I'm not aware, because I'm not able to know. Only God. Even the mother doesn't know. The only thing she feels is the breast is lighter. But if I ask you, how much have you given your baby on that breastfeed session? You say you don't know, because you can't see exactly how much. So on pumps, I would say this. It depends with each family, and I leave it to the family to decide what they want. Because some, as I said, will afford the manual, some will afford the electrical, and there are many, many brands, many. Even wearable pumps nowadays, we have them where you just wear and it keeps pumping for you. Those cost quite an amount of money. I know them, but some people can afford. So we cannot compare this house, this family with another family. Some who do hard expression. I've seen mothers who hard express and they do fantastic job. And if you can extract milk, end of the day, that's what we're looking for. Don't go breaking your bank to get a wearable pump. Then it comes, you wear it, then you're frustrated, it's not working. I've seen people with all manner of pumps. We tried the first, she went on the internet, she saw this one is working better, she bought, it didn't work for her, went for electric, this type, didn't work, this one. So you find like she has 5 pumps, and you're like, basic, let's start basic. Any pump, let's start. And you find she was missing one thing. If I can be allowed to mention it, when you start pumping, the pump gets into a mode of stimulation. That moment, it can take about 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Little did mothers know that when you're stimulating, not much milk is coming, but the pump is doing something. It's telling the mind, please bring the milk, bring the milk, bring the milk. At that point, within 10 minutes, the mother is frustrated and says, I don't have milk, pushes away the pump, and then she goes to the next pump. If everybody can know, even the manual pump, the first time you start, you stimulate, just when you're pumping, then nothing is coming. Then at some point, the milk starts coming, and sprouts of milk. If someone could have waited for that 10 minutes or 8 minutes to see the magic that pump is going to give, or that hard expression is going to give. But hard expression directly, mostly it's direct because of the act of massage of the breast massage when you're pumping. They need to give those moms, first of all, understanding. There's nothing good than knowing I'm in an environment that is supporting breastfeeding. Why? Because even when I'm expressing the milk in an institution or in a space, and people want to peep or they want to see something, some moms are a bit tensed when they see a colleague walk in. So can we give that mother some, breast is a private part, to some moms, it's really private. And they cannot express when someone else is looking. And I'm talking to some particular people. Some people, they are relaxed, they're okay, they can sit here and start to, and their mind is okay. But for moms who are very private, give them the space and time. Just give them that space. Let her include whoever she wants. Sometimes they want to make sure that room they get into has privacy, that no one can walk, or their boss. You don't hear your boss is walking in to find your boobs out, So we need to first give them time, give them understanding that that is her private time to look for food for the baby for the next day. So if we can understand from that perspective, and of course the Health Act be implemented, especially for mothers who are breastfeeding, and the baby needs time with the mother, if we can have such companies start embracing this and telling people it's okay. Like, I have been to moms' homes and I asked them, so what are you planning about returning back to work? And they tell me, oh, my office or my work is easy, a little. The supervisor or my manager had said I can be coming home, see the baby over lunchtime and going back. You can imagine if we embraced that. Number two, if offices can allow, if there's space for baby or babies, if there are two mothers who have given birth in an institution or three, can babies come at at my break time? I will carry lunch, yes, but can my baby be brought? I see my baby is fine, I breastfeed my baby, I bond with my baby, and the baby goes back. Now we have Uber, taxis. Now things are changing. It's unlike when we had to really overthink, how will this baby even come? You just order Uber for them, they come few minutes, 30 minutes, breastfeed your baby, you're happy, you've seen your baby, release your baby back to home. Some other offices, on your point, they're able to release mothers early. They don't wait for a time where traffic jam hits. So some release them at 4:30. I hear a lot of moms with such positive stories, and it's because we've highlighted about breastfeeding, and we will not keep quiet. We are not going to get tired talking about breastfeeding, as much as the month of August is World Breastfeeding Week, the 1st to 7th of August. But even after then, you see a lot of highlights on the media, and even here what we've discussed. You don't know who we've touched in the line of policy makers, and they come out with a HR policy which says every breastfeeding mother, can work half a day. What does that mean to that mother? You can imagine if it was you, if it was me, I would give it my best. Then half of the day, I'm out to see my baby. And also I want to highlight something. The paternity leave that is given to our husbands, let them not use it for garage. I hear a lot of garage mentioned. I hear a lot of the boys' time, my buddy's time. It is time, actually the society or the community for this mother who is breastfeeding starts with herself, the medical team she met, and the husband or partner for those who have partners. It is time to check, is she okay? Is she coping? Is she going into postpartum, dive? What is she, how is she eating? And then you're 2 weeks, you're back to work. That's why we say the whole team must be incorporated. And I'm really grateful to see men now embrace breastfeeding. Now it's no longer a red days thing. They have really come out and they are supportive. They even know what can you eat, what can you drink when you're breastfeeding. This is what you should wear. They know. And also, I'm careful about internet, the social media. You go there, have seen a mother very happy, posting how happy she is, and another mother is going into postpartum depression. So I tell moms, be yourself, read yourself. You're a book on yourself, and the baby is the next book that you need to read. Because the more they implement policies in workplaces, like a company like Safaricom just decides we are supporting moms, and they're doing. We are going to let moms come to office with their children, with their babies. Let me call them babies because they are, in the space of babies. What does that mean? Another company will see that and implement. Government offices, they already know by now what breastfeeding and what it takes to breastfeed or to exclusively breastfeed. Because WHO will come and say this is what we want. Lactation specialists like us and doctors, we say as soon as baby is born, baby must be introduced to the breast within the first hour after birth. 1 hour from when that baby has been delivered should be tasting the mother's breast. So what does this mean? The more we talk about it, the more doctors talk about it, pediatricians, the nurses at the clinics, those nurses at antenatal clinics, the more we talk about it, it's hitting somewhere. The back end is going to get to the government, and I know they have very good health act, especially for mothers who are breastfeeding, but somewhere people still fail at implementation. But the more we hear this company is doing this, another company will implement. Another company, it's like something that had to start somewhere and it's coming. That's why I've mentioned a market in Chuka and another one in Kisumu. What does that say? That even we are caring about everybody and every mother who is breastfeeding. We need that space, we need that time, we need that understanding, and the government keep on doing what they should do. And we need to implement some of the policies, and HRs come in, your boss or the bosses of the companies come in. And I'm very happy to see what is happening, because at first it used to look like abnormal thing for this woman even to leak milk on the blouses. Nowadays they don't leak because they became aware. The more they empty, actually I tell moms, your breast is like a tap of water in the kitchen. When it's silent, no production. When you open it, more production. That means the more you keep opening this tap by ways of breastfeeding, ways of pumping, ways of, hard expression, the more the tap will produce more. So the more the baby takes, the more it's produced. So it's a give and take. The more out, the more in. And that's the whole thing. Backstop ends there. The more out, the more in. And if someone has challenges, we still have ourselves, the lactation specialists. We have I want to mention the Kenya Breastfeeding Association. It's an association in Kenya that is really, go check on it. I'm a member there. It's called Kenya Association for Breastfeeding, that CAB. That means we have members there whose work every day is to talk about breastfeeding, pumping. So the mothers sort of now feel they're not waiting for August, first week of August, to hear about breastfeeding again. Every day we are working on breastfeeding. If you meet me along my line of duty, it's all about breastfeeding. And mother support, they need support, yeah? And the government is me and you. We start here, then it will reach the high level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I want to show you how to position the baby to breastfeed. First of all, the mother's back is priority and the neck. So you need to sit in a comfortable couch. Make sure your back is straight and not bending this way or bending so much that way. If it's any position, whether in bed or sitting, make sure your back and neck is priority, because a lot of moms bend and I find them saying my neck is aching, my back is aching. So when you come to baby, don't first place the baby on the nursing pillow. You find some nursing pillows are very shallow, and then don't reach the mother nicely to bring the baby to the breast. So what I tell moms, this hand of the baby is the dormant hand, whether this one or this, or depending on the side you're breastfeeding, this dormant hand, you hide it under your armpit. And then you turn this baby. You see that position the baby is in? you turn the baby stomach to stomach. I hear a lot of people ask me, what is this stomach to stomach? That is the position where if you're seated there looking at me breastfeeding, you just see the back of the head, the spine, the bum-bums, the heels. At that position, you should know that you're good. Then you can bring in the nursing pillow to support you. But if you find a lot of space is left, please add something. Then refuse with this hand. If you keep refusing with it, it will keep interfering. It's actually one of the things that interferes with breastfeeding. So I want it to be hidden there like that, and the baby comes at that point. Then the breast, you keep tickling at the tip of the nose, if I can bend a little for the camera, like that, and the baby will yawn for you, or root. They start looking for the breast. When should you put it? It's when the baby does a big yawn, or when the baby wide mouth is open, very wide, and then you put in. What are we putting in? Not the nipple. This is the nipple, this is the areola, and then the breast tissue. This areola means is darker than this part. And if you look at my breast model, the same. This is nipple, at the tip, this is the nipple, there. It's usually like, and some people don't have privilege of nipples. That's one of the challenges we should have talked about. Some people have hidden, we can talk it another day. It's drawn with like it's inside. It's usually called, what's the name? Like they don't have, I'll remember the name. Flat nipples. Flat is completely like this. Some are withdrawn inside. Those are challenges of breastfeeding. But most mothers have the nipple, the areola, the breast tissue. This is where the milk is stored. You see? I want to show you because this model has, this is the breast tissue. You can now see there are many lobules. If you see, tiny, tiny, tiny. All this is milk. The pink is milk. All this yellow is fat surrounding the breast tissue. And then when you come here to the end, where you see this round, is where the areola reaches. Some people have big areolas, have very small, and then the nipple. When you're breastfeeding, we say, don't breastfeed the nipple. Don't nipple feed the baby because you have challenges of pain and cracked nipples. You should feed most of the areola or all the areola. This space is where I'm interested, and that's why I said when the baby does a big open, big one, it's usually limited. She will do it once. You time and you bring in the baby in. And then hold on the baby, the same there. If you see the baby's nose is getting blocked, you just need to twist the baby like this. Or if you have much of breast tissue, you have to support a little here. But when you're fixing the baby, remember, we do a C-hold, not a scissor. We don't scissor. Many moms do scissor, and they keep pressing the milk back or cutting the milk supply. So this is not good. We say C-hold is this. Then you bring the baby, you tickle around the rib, around the nose, around the rib. When the baby opens wide, you put in all the areola, or most of the areola. The upper rib, this rib, should be out-drawn, like out, like a fish. Not smacking, not biting. It should be out. So if you see the baby is creaking, that is not good. It means you need to break the circle. You break it with your finger and then start again. If there is pain, please break the circling again, start again. You can start as many times, provided you don't hurt yourself. That is one. You don't hurt your nipple. You don't also hear creaking sound because gas is going to the baby. A lot of air bubbles is going to the baby. So you keep at that. And we say empty one breast before going to the other. So let the baby feed on this one. And then when you see baby is uncomfortable, they start dancing for you, showing discomfort. Break the circle or the circling, then bap the baby, and then come back to the same breast. You find that baby is able to take one breast per feed, and it's enough. Some babies still switch to the other breast. It's still okay, provided you don't do few minutes here. Remember we said about 2 types of milk, the fore milk and the hid milk. When you start breastfeeding, the first milk is called fore milk. It's literally glucose water with a dash of milk. It's very weak. It's a weak milk, it looks, but it's meant to give baby energy to breastfeed. When you feed fore milk here, then you come feed the baby fore milk. You've given fore milk twice. That means the baby will have a lot of glucose in the tummy, and some babies get a bit uncomfortable with it, or they get like colicky symptoms, or like they feel uncomfortable, or flatulence. They start passing a lot of wind. So give the baby the fore milk, and then hid milk, which is a little thicker. And then if you're going to switch the breasts, it's after you've done this breast completely, then you move to this other one. Yeah? Breasts, when they're breastfeeding, they're able to see you as a mother, and that's why we say, other than touch, other than talking to your baby, other than cooing, other than just, lifting the fingers, some mothers do this, they start even biting their fingers, they are cutting the nails in the process, they're able to sing a lullaby for their babies. At that point, the baby is able to interact with the mother. And as they grow, they start even smiling, laughing, and cooing for the mother. And it's very comfortable for any mother to see their baby respond to their sight, or to their sound, or to their smell. They really know their mother. In fact, when they are born, if they ask who is your mother, in 100 mothers, the baby will go pick their mother, because they already has that smell for mothers when they are born. And it starts in the womb, and they develop that. For daddies, you have to work it out. Your voice gives babies security. Mom gives babies love, but dads give love, yes. And most important is security. When you hold your baby as a dad or the father figure, the way you hold them, because your muscle is tighter and heavier, the baby gets security from the dad. Then they will grow, and also they need to take your voice through you talking to the baby, and your smell. That is daddy's work. So the more you carry your baby as a daddy, the more you bring your baby nearer you, even when they're not close, wrapped so much. I know the weather is very against everything. It's very cold, but try in a comfortable, couch. Just remove your shirt, carry your baby, and start talking to them. They will never, never ever forget you. And they will never forget that moment that you gave that baby, the bonding process. And it also increases the mother's confidence. It also gives the mother a lot of hormones of happiness that now increase the milk production. And the babies are happier and comfortable.